So anyway, finally, I've been playing around with this TV, been trying to get used to Sony XBR X900E, and it took me a while to get used to it because this is my first time using a Sony television product. I never used a Sony television product before. This is my first time doing it, so it took a while for me to kind of get used to it and work my way around, try to figure out where everything is. But once you get everything sorted out, once you get used to it, once you get hang of the remote control, and you know your way around the user interface and all the other options that are available, then it becomes like a second nature. And I have to admit, I fell in love with this TV right away. The reason I fell in love with this TV right away, it's because of so many options, so many features available, and I'm kind of gonna walk you through it a little bit on some of the features that this TV has that I really like. Currently, you're looking at Gran Turismo Sport, and it looks beautiful on this X900E 4K HDR panel. It really does. I don't think my GoPro Hero camera here is doing it justice, but you'll just have to take my word for it. It really looks fantastic. Now let's talk about the features. First of all, oops, there goes my GoPro Hero 5. So much for my GoPro Hero 5 and my not so pro tripod. First thing first, let's talk about this remote control. This remote control, it's very unique. And the reason I say it's very unique because it really has some very unique, cool design to it. What I mean by very cool, sleek design to it, it's they didn't really do anything extraordinary on this remote control, but they made it so simple, so basic, and I think that's what makes it so cool. Like the buttons are laid out the way they're supposed to be laid out, and it's very easy to navigate, very easy to feel where the buttons are. And I personally, this is my own personal preference, I love this remote control. It's a very simple, nice remote control. It feels really nice in your hands. It has like a rubbery feel to it, like a good grip to it. So if you have a sweaty hands, it's not gonna fall off or slip. So remote control is really good. I like the remote control. But anyway, let's jump into what's most important about this TV, the features. Now, it's very important to understand that this is a built-in Android TV, Chrome, Google Chrome Android TV, meaning that you can Chromecast your Android Google device onto this TV, and pretty much your Google account that you have will carry on onto this TV, and you will be able to use all the Google features that are available. But first, let me show you Google Chromecast. You click home button, and right away it's going to take you to all the Android TV Google Chrome features. Now, for those of you who have Google Chromecast, or for those of you who had Android NVIDIA Shield, I'm sorry, for those of you who had and still have NVIDIA Shield, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you pretty much have everything here that you would find on the Google Chrome TV or NVIDIA Shield enabled Google Chromecast and Android TV user interface. You would find pretty much the same exact thing here. And what's so awesome about this is it floats. While you're playing your video game or watching your movie, you can instantly just go between these apps, and you can switch different apps that you have available on your Android, and that's very unique and cool, and it really works well. It works really great. I cannot just emphasize just how smooth the responsiveness is on this Sony TV. It's very smooth on this remote control. It clicks very nicely, and it runs really good. So this is pretty much what you get for the Google Chromecast, Google Android TV user interface. Okay. And here you got all your apps, as I mentioned before. Everything that you would want, it's here for you. There's a YouTube right there, Google Play Store. So it's pretty much a Google TV built in, honestly, is what it is. Just like a Roku TV on a TCL, this is pretty much the same thing on the Sony. You have a Google Chromecast Android TV built into it. And it's pretty cool. Now, down here is where you're going to find your HDMI inputs, okay? Let me just adjust my camera. Like this. Down here, you're going to find your HDMI inputs. Right now, I have my PlayStation 4, my Apple TV connected to it. I haven't connected my Oppo, which I'm planning on doing tomorrow. And of course my Xfinity, I want to try it out as well. And the great thing about this, it automatically detects exactly what you have. If you have a PlayStation, it's going to automatically detect PlayStation. If you have Apple, it's going to automatically detect Apple. So you don't have to do anything. It's going to automatically detect what you have. It has, well, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Has 4 HDMIs, including the ARC. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 HDMIs. It has 4, including the HDMI 3 ARC. You know, you can still use this HDMI 3 port for your television, for your device, but it's mainly there if you want to do a return on your receiver. So now let's talk about the settings. Now this is where very important stuff happens. It's the settings. So let's click back and let's hit on the settings right here. It's called the action menu. Basically, it's right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. Maybe I can. You see where it says action menu, like this button right here. That's where when you click on action menu, that's when your picture modes and everything, all of your options will be selected on the TV, which I'm going to show you right now when you click on the action menu. Alright, so I changed my stance on the my tripod so you guys can see it better. This is the action menu. This is where pretty much all of your options are. As you can see right here, you got display, where you check your displays if you want to see what you have. You have picture-in-picture, which is kind of cool that you got that option. You can use picture-in-picture mode. I like that option. And in picture-in-picture mode, you can watch live football mode. And while you're playing a video game, you can watch in the little corner, you can watch your broadcast of a football game, which is kind of cool. You got a bunch of different options here. But the most important part here, to me, that I want to show you is the picture adjustments. This is where all the magic happens, and this is where I fell in love with this TV. You can see right there, it tells you that your HDMI supports HDR, which you can see it right over here. There it is, HDR. So you know that you're already supporting HDR. Now, currently, I'm using a standard mode, but there's a variety of different modes that you can go through. You got standard, you got vivid, which I recommend you use the vivid. Vivid is the best. You got custom, you got cinema pro, you got cinema home, you got sports, you got animation, which is also really good, photo vivid, photo standard, photo custom, and the game. And there's another one called the graphics. So there's honestly just truckload of options for you to choose. I'm going to bring it back to a vivid mode, which is the one I like personally. Currently we're on the game mode, which is preferable for the game. There's the game mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to a vivid mode really quick just to show you. So anyway, here we are on the vivid mode. I'm going to select vivid mode. And here's where, to me personally, this television shines. The variety of different options, which I'm going to show you right here. So you have selection where you can choose auto picture mode, where the picture is going to pretty much sink in and automatically detect the best possible picture. This is another cool thing to use, where automatically this chip that's built inside the X1 chip is going to detect pretty much what your calibration should be on this TV. So it's going to automatically detect. That's pretty cool. But we're not going to do that right now. We're just going to keep it on off because we want to do it ourselves. Brightness, it's on maximum, obviously because we're using HDR. Color, it's on 60, but we can move it down if we want to. And here is where all the goodies come, people, on this television. So let's go through this really quick. Here's your basic setups that every television has. Obviously, we're using an HDR, so brightness and contrast, it's always going to be at the maximum. Gamma, it's going to be at the default zone in the middle. You also have a black level adjustment. This is a very cool feature where you can adjust how much of deep dark levels would you like on this television. I usually like to keep it to 38. Okay. As you can see here, 38, it's fine. It's not that bad. So I like to keep it at 38. You also have the ability to enhance the blacks levels in the image for stronger contrast, and I left it at high. This gives you the much better ratio between dynamic bright levels and deep dark levels. You also have a contrast enhancer, which I also use as well, which really definitely helps here and makes it look very nice. Hopefully my GoPro Hero 5 camera here, it's doing it justice, but it looks just beautiful. You also got local, full real local dimming. I like to keep it on high, so we keep it high right here. You also have extended dynamic range, which adjusts the peak luminance for brightest whites and blackest black. I keep this at high, and this really looks gorgeous. I have to admit, it really does. You guys also have to remember that my camera here, it's really not doing it justice. It's something you have to be really in person just to see how beautiful this looks. All right. And this is just the basics. Okay, I haven't even gotten to the most important stuff. Now we can go to color. We can adjust the color. Okay, I left it at 60 because at 60 I get a nice pop of color that I want personally for me. I think this television definitely shines on 60, color in 60. You can choose the different temperature here. Right now it's at cool, but we're going to change it to, hold on. We're going to change it at neutral. Let's go to the advanced settings, and we're going to change it to neutral. Because remember, you want to avoid that blue UV light. So I keep it in neutral. Neutral, it's the best because it doesn't use too much of the warm, nor does it use too much of the cool, blue, cold color. It stays at the neutral level, so I keep it in neutral. You also have the ability to adjust these colors individually, like the RGB. You can adjust these colors individually, but I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you have professional calibrating equipment to do so. You also have the live color. You can improve the vividness of colors, and I left it at high. And this is just some of the features that are available here. And here's the clarity. Clarity, sharpness is 75. Now we don't want that. We want to make sure our sharpness is way down. We want to bring our sharpness down to as low as possible. We'll keep our sharpness at 24. Reality creation, this is something that it adjusts the noise so that way the picture looks more realistic, especially when there's motion flow happening, so that way you get much better realistic moving picture. These right here, this is something that's used when you are in the Cinema Pro mode. I'm currently in a vivid mode, custom vivid mode that I'm using, but this is something that's used in the Pro Cinema mode that's available. I keep everything, the random noise reduction automatic, digital noise reduction automatic, smooth gradation, I don't know how you spell that. Gradation, I guess. You keep it at low, which reduce false contrast or flat surface. So the best thing to do here, just leave this on the low. Don't mess with this too much. Now the motion. Motion has different types of motions. You have standard motion flow, which is 120 hertz. You can keep it at standard, and just I would recommend keeping it standard. I've noticed that the motion flow, it's best at the standard. You have clear, which I don't recommend, honestly. It's not, then you lose the that auto motion flow soap opera effect. True cinema, it's something you want to use when you're watching a movie. And then you got the custom, where you can adjust how much of that motion flow you would like. So you can click custom, you can adjust how much smoothness would you like. Would you like to go all the way to the high, or how much of smoothness, or would you like to go to maximum? I wouldn't recommend going to the maximum. If you do that, there will be some jagged edge, there will be some judder, I'm sorry. You will notice a bunch of judder, so I wouldn't do that. I would keep it at 3. Okay. And then you have smooth. Smooth, it's definitely a good one as well. But to me personally, the one I've noticed to be the best is standard. So I keep it at standard at all times. Now here you got the different types of HDR modes. I currently am on automatic. You can switch to HDR10 if you like. If you want to, you can keep it at HDR10 mode if you choose to do so. It's not going to do anything, honestly. There's also HLG mode. And it surprisingly has the hybrid lock gamma mode. This is from Technicolor. Is it from Technicolor? I'm not sure. Hybrid lock gamma. And has HDR10 mode. But the best thing to do here, guys, let the television, let this powerful chip, X1 chip, let it figure out and decide what's the best HDR rendering mode between your device and the TV and the HDMI. So keep it on automatic. HDMI video range, I keep it full. Color space, I keep it on automatic. And this is just me not even scratching the surface as to how many features this TV has. So it has really a lot of features for you to mess around with. And you can customize it any which way you want. But it really looks great, guys. Maybe I can show you my Apple 4K TV. Let's switch to the Apple 4K TV really quick so I can show you a couple of things. So you can see this just looks stunning on the Apple 4K TV. This is in HDR, and the picture quality here, it is just so clear. It looks just, you know, I just realized just how beautiful the Sony TVs are, man. You know, until this day, I just didn't realize just how powerful that Sony X chip is that they have built inside these televisions of theirs. And I haven't even connected my Oppo. I'm pretty sure once I connect my Oppo, I'm going to do that video tomorrow. Once I connect my Oppo UDP-203, the picture is going to be even more stunning watching Blade Runner on this thing. But my camera here, honestly, it's not doing justice until you see this TV in person. And this is a mid-range Sony 4K TV HDR. Imagine if I had X900E or Z9D. I mean, just if I had Z9D, I mean, that would be it. To me personally, Z9D would be like, wow. I would be even more blown away by Z9D, you know. And, you know, when you buy a Sony brand, you gotta remember you're buying a really good quality brand. It's like buying an Apple. So when you buy Sony, you know you're gonna get the best of the best. You're gonna get a good picture quality here, and it definitely looks great. Now this is the movie I was watching, the Transformers, and it just looks fantastic, man. Like the colors and HDR pops just unbelievably. Just the sheer detail, and maybe I can kind of give you some ideas. This is why I'm not a fan of edge-lit, or maybe I can just kind of slowly show you what I'm talking about here. I purposely turned on my Samsung KS8000. Now look how beautiful and deep dark levels are presented here, and color and everything. And now look from this side, when I show you the Samsung KS8000, and look at the drastic difference that there is. And that's because this thing doesn't have edge-lit. It has a beautiful full array local dimming. Now look when I show you my Samsung KS8000. And look at that that edge-lit bleeding light that's presented. You know, I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that, in my opinion, Samsung had made is the edge-lit. I personally think edge-lit TVs should not be made anymore. They should get rid of the edge-lit, and they should stick with much better toning of the backlit light that's emitting. Micro LEDs, that's something that I personally believe is going to be the future. And you look right here and you just see that this thing, no matter which, I mean, here, I'll do a little demo. Like, here we go. Like, no matter which angle you're watching this from, It's gonna be great. That's not the case here with the Samsung KS8000. That bleeding light, it's always presented there from the edgelet. Here, it's not the case. So I just wanted you guys to see that really quick. You know, the colors pop. Even on this user interface right here, the color pop. You know, maybe I can play some games on Apple 4K TV really quick just to show you a little bit. Here's the one game called the Alliance Air something, Alliance Air Battle. It's the one of the games that I downloaded on Apple 4K TV, and on this Sony 900E. Just looks just beautiful, like the HDR pops, the detail, the motion flow. It definitely shows on this TV. You guys have to remember what I paid for this TV and the kind of quality I'm getting with this TV for $800 with a 55-inch. Is truly remarkable. And like I said, you can always go back to the what you call it, your Google Chrome here, and you can, as you're playing your game, you can check your Facebook. You can go through here and you can select all your apps that you have here. There's so many more features here on this TV, which I don't have time to cover all of them right now. Okay, this is something I'm going to be doing throughout the coming days. I'm also going to connect my Oppo UDP-203, and I'm going to show you guys how Oppo UDP-203 looks on this television. And we'll try some other PlayStation 4 Pro games and the Xbox One X games to see how they stack up. We'll connect also my Alienware 17 to see how PC games run on this television as well. So we'll put it through its pace and do a bunch of tests on it. You know, we'll also do some comparisons between the Xbox One X 4K player and the Oppo UDP to see how they stack up on this TV and stuff like that. But it looks great. You know, there's so many features on this TV. Like I said, I'm not even scratching the surface. Picture-in-picture is another thing that's really cool. You know. So here I am right now. I'm on the Google Chrome, and here's the picture-in-picture right there, where I can go ahead and check my Apple 4K TV as I am doing something else here on a Google Chrome. So you can do that option as well, which is pretty cool. There will be some more features I'm going to cover on this TV, but it's definitely a great TV. If you can get a good deal on this TV, I definitely say go for it, man. I only paid $800, and that's all because they didn't have the screws for the stand. I said, I don't care about the screws for the stand. I'm going to buy my own screws, and then I'm going to fix it. And that's what I did. There's the stand. It looks like a brand new. It's right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. So I'm going to adjust my... there it is. You guys can see the stand. There it is right there. So anyway, there you have it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's been half an hour. Remember, this is just my very first thoughts on it. My very first experience. There will be more videos, obviously, throughout the days, more tests and comparisons and whatnot. I'll put this TV through its paces. and we'll see how it compares to TCL and KS8000. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow on my next video. Take care.